Colby, did you know I was first in my class?
Yeah, Barry?
Yeah, it's not even funny, man. For door watching. There's zero quotable lines in this movie. I wish there was something better. What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the third movie of...
I retired from the Secret Service.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's... These, like, agent spy thriller movies are a little bit hard to kind of recap on, because I feel like a lot of them are almost, like, very just Tom Clancy novel... The same type of things, right?
Right. Yes. This one looked like it had much more of a twist, so that's why I picked it. So because there's a lot. Yeah.
It does.
Most of them are that.
Yeah.
Hey, I was in the Secret Service and somebody wronged me, so I'm gonna come back.
I'm Black Ops.
Yeah. They took my daughter. I'm black. I used to be a Navy SEAL.
You know, honestly. Hey, good on these people that could do these type of jobs. I couldn't be on alert 24/7.
Right.
Like sometimes you gotta have days where you could just, hang it up. Not constantly looking on the rear views.
Yeah.
Could you do this?
Right. Like if you're like, hey, I could be on alert for, the weekend, whatever. Like while I'm deployed, but when it's time to go home, I want to be able to go home.
Right. Enjoy your block of cheese.
Yes, exactly. Just get all fat and tired on cheese, and then somebody sneaks in and kills me.
Yeah. Oh, that's the most. Like, my biggest fear is dying on the toilet, and I feel like that's how it would go if I was like a former Black Ops.
That's your 1 week place.
The toilet. God, it's just so vulnerable, It's like, if you have a dog and they're taking a dump while you're walking them and they're looking at you, because they're like, you got my back, right? If something happens, you got me.
See, that's why you need a cat. Because, like, when you go to the bathroom, the cat will sit at the door to make sure you're safe. Well, not what they're going to stop anybody, but you'll know because they'll scurry off.
Yeah, I'm not Coley's a huge cat person. They're just people that don't pay rent in your house. They break shit.
Right, and they make your eyes really itchy.
Yeah, exactly. For me especially. But it's just, I've seen too many cat videos where they're like tipping over TVs.
Yeah. It lets you know that you did a crappy job setting up.
No.
You have not baby-proofed your house.
I'm going to throw that cat away. I actively say no to girls that have cats. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, let's get into this movie's rhyme fest to introduce you to what movie we're doing today. This one was also pretty difficult. Secret spies and truths buried in lies. Secret codes and meetings in clandestine. In the world of espionage, you become trapped in a barrage of enemies. Will Paul get out of this scot-free without Gere finding out he's the real trouble? Let's find out in 2011's espionage thriller, The Double. It's hard.
Right.
These are sounding like haikus more and more.
And it was really hard, because I say, usually kind of look through other people's reviews, try to find some behind the scenes. There was another movie with Jesse Eisenberg called The Double that came out 2 years later.
Uh-huh.
So almost everything was about that. About that movie. It was really hard for me to find any behind the scenes, cut scenes, anything from this. And then the same year as this, there was one called The Devil's Double.
I know. I'm surprised that like there isn't like an In-N-Out documentary called The Double Double.
there might be. There might be.
Soon. You know, as soon as there's like a huge like scandal, they'll come out with that. And then if you use that, you owe us.
I think In-N-Out's only in like 6 states, so maybe they're not national enough.
Well, you know, it's because it's one family. Like they don't franchise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's just like one family that owns that whole thing, and that's why they don't like spread out even more. So, but yeah, yeah. Today we're gonna be talking about the 2011 straight to DVD movie, The Double, starring Richard Gere, Richard Gere, and I gotta say the underrated Topher Grace. I don't know if it's like a personality thing.
I feel like it's 2011, right? So he's like pretty fresh off of 70s.
No, he's been gone from the 70s show. I believe it was probably like 2007, 2006. Because remember, he left the 70s show to do Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
And then after that, he just never really came back. And I always wondered why, because I was a huge fan of the 70s show. And then all the things that came out about the cast came out. And I was like, oh, I get it. Because everybody from the 70s show isn't a great person. Apparently, allegedly.
Right.
But I never heard
isn't
anything
he's
bad.
back. He at least makes cameos in the with the new one, the 90s show.
Yeah, I mean, I think they all do. You know, it's just like everything is like a
Not one of
nostalgia.
them. One of them's in prison.
I think a lot of them just like it's like obviously there's this huge nostalgia resurgence. You know, with the Fuller House,
Right.
and all that stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. So iCarly coming back, and so I like Topher Grace, and he was like for a stretch he was doing some decent movies. Like he had like Take Me Home Tonight, Dating Ted whatever.
It's gonna be really dumb that I asked this. Was he in the Predator Planet movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which I was like, oh man, he would have been a better what's it called? Sid Cash what was it called? What's the dude's name for Carnage?
Oh, yes.
Cassius? Or
Cletus.
Cletus. Yeah, I knew it was some backwater southern.
We apologize to the Cletuses out there.
Cletus, get your ass back inside. You know that's how it sounds. But no. Oh my.
Mom, I'm listening to the Who Watches This podcast. Leave me alone.
But yeah, oh man. So like him in the Predator movie with Adrian Brody and everything, where he was like the serial killer.
Yeah.
So, I was like, oh, they totally miscasted him as Eddie Brock. He should have been Cletus.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's been busy. He's done like a bunch of, he's been in smaller parts in movies and all that. And I believe he had a show for a bit that ran for a decent amount of time. Home Economics, which was like a pretty decent show. So
Okay.
but I kind of feel sad for him because I feel like he deserves a lot more roles.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. And he still looks kind of the same. He hasn't really aged like terribly.
Right. He's aged well.
Yeah,
Very well.
but
yeah.
maybe it's because he took the step back. He's just doing smaller roles. Maybe that's what it is. And then Richard Gere. Oh my God, what's his name? Richard.
Yeah. Is it? What? Now you've said it.
Richard Gere.
Richard Gere.
Yeah, Richard Gere.
You said it both ways, and all of a sudden my brain was just like click, 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 click.
How are you supposed to say it? It's funny, like he's also kind of fallen out of like the spotlight of
Well, yeah, he was huge from
the 80s and 90s, right?
Yeah, this was kind of like the end of his run.
Yeah, I mean he's still
because for a movie to go straight to DVD with him in it, that's the end of his run.
Because then, like for me growing up, I only really ever knew him from Unfaithful with Diane Lane. Super hot in that movie, made me like older women, and Pretty Woman, which a little too much information for you guys. My first boner. I had zero business watching that movie, And I had no clue what was going on when he first brought her up to the room.
Right, right.
But, you know, nature knew. And I ran around the house. What's going on with my penis? You know, you never forget your first boner, people.
Oh, I think we have a clip that we're gonna
Yeah.
a sound bite for Instagram.
But what's it called? Also, Martin Sheen, barely in this movie, but still a huge, like a really wonderful actor.
Which is super weird because I used to really like him, and he's been in a ton of things. But the thing I watched him in most recently was I was gonna say Will and Grace, Grace and Frankie.
Oh, the geriatric show.
Yeah, and it's weird to see him try to be a tough cop when I just saw him being, a gay retired guy who was trying to get into show business.
Oh, I kind of want to see that now. Him playing a gay guy.
Yeah, so the totally like off this movie, but the premise of that show is two lawyer partners,
Yeah.
been partners forever, and turns out that for many, many years they have been, gay lovers.
Yeah.
And after they retire, they basically come out to their wives. They're like, hey,
We're done.
we want to leave you guys because now that we're retired, we want to spend our golden years together. And
we're done being straight.
and the wives are kind of like, well, we hate you, but you didn't leave us for other women, so and so we've known each other, the group of us have known each other forever. So since we have a beach house and because you guys were successful lawyers, we're going to move into the beach house, the two wives.
Yeah.
And they're best friends, but total polar opposites.
Is that what show? I know. I that show has what 70, 80 episodes.
Yeah,
so
it's
super popular.
Six seasons maybe.
Yeah, so that's great. That's hilarious to see him in that light. Just because every time I've ever seen Charlie Sheen, he's always playing a serious. So that must have been hilarious to see him do these comedy as,
Yeah, he's pretty good at that.
Yeah, and obviously his two famous sons, Emilio and Charlie,
right?
Which is kind of weird. I didn't know they were half brothers. But yeah,
they've done movies.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen them.
A handful of movies together. Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, let's get into this movie. So this movie starts off with illegal border patrol. No, it's a group of people trying to cross the border.
It is the weirdest beginning that seems to not tie to the movie in any way
until
the very, very end.
Yeah. But yeah, I believe they call them coyotes. It's people that sneak people in,
right? Yeah,
and all that stuff. But one of them says to another Mexican person, who's like, "Hey, don't look at them,"
right?
Because why you have white people crossing in, So obviously there's something kind of shady there. So he's like, "Don't look at them. You don't want them to think that you can recognize them."
But yes,
or put any descriptors. But as soon as they cross over, they get into the little backpack graveyard.
Yeah.
Where they're like, all right, everybody ditch the shit that you brought with you because it's too it's too noticeable.
Right. If everybody's walking over with backpacks on, it's gonna be like, hey, check those guys out.
Yeah, they're not camping around the border. They're not camping. But then Border Patrol comes, but then it's really just a ruse because these individuals, these white individuals, all of a sudden, I think he shoots the coyote.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that's probably facilitating this whole exchange, right? And then they just go into the Border Patrol thing, and they kind of disappear.
Yeah.
And then we cut to a debate happening on CNN. about, I don't know what the context of their discussion was. Was it like espionage or something? It's diplomatic relationship situation.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then but we see one of the senators from that show rewatching, his debate, and he's just like, ugh. But then all of a sudden, we cut to a room where two FBI agents are watching this guy.
Right.
And
Yeah, because they're like, you get the idea that the senator, the senator's gone bad, or he's making some kind of bad deal, and
he's selling info.
Yeah, you're not sure if he's like, I don't know, they're waiting for him to flip
or something. But then as he's trying to get, as he's trying to leave, he gets a call from somebody, and he's all like, I'm not gonna do that. And they're like, he's made a call. And so they start monitoring, going like downstairs, going out of the building, and then all of a sudden from the shadows somebody comes and throats this guy.
Yep.
And it's not the fun kind of throating for all you wondering out there. Now he slits this guy's throat. And so the FBI agents are like surrounded. They're like, hey, this is our situation. This is a domestic thing. Yep. He's probably on some sort of like embassy hotel or something like that.
Yeah.
But then they're like, you got to wait for this person. And out comes Martin Sheen.
Yep.
And he's CIA. Which I was like, are you supposed to announce that?
I guess it's to the FBI, so I guess it's okay.
But then, and then, so obviously he's trying to figure out this whole situation, and then we cut to Richard Gere watching a Little League game.
Right.
And he's like chatting up this one mom, and he's like, oh, which one's yours? Oh, he's a shortstop. He's like, he has a good arm. And then she was like, which one's yours? And he's like, oh, I don't have any kids. I just live around the corner. I like to watch little children play sports.
I was like it 10 years later, it would have been called out.
Yeah.
I guess it was 2011 was still okay to watch little kids play baseball if you don't have your own.
Well, it seemed like I was like, oh, is he trying to chat up this mom? Is this where he goes to pick up moms?
Yeah,
yeah, or he could have just been like, my son loved baseball, but he passed away. Those are like, kind of like, he's like around that age where it's like, oh,
it could have been, yeah, that totally would have been.
Yeah, and that'll totally mitigate the situation, but it's 2011, so you don't have to do that.
Right.
But as he walks home, he goes into his house, and then Martin Sheen is there doing the old spy trick.
Yep, sitting in the chair in the dark.
Yeah, he's like, can't believe I got the drop on you, Paul. You used to be one of our best. And he's like, I'm fucking retired, dude.
Right. For like 15 years.
Like at that point, I feel like, especially with CIA agents, I'm pretty sure they get like a whole like new identity or whatever. Just as a retirement thing. I don't know the logistics of it, right? But obviously Martin Sheen's still keeping tabs on him.
Right.
But he's like, I need you back. And he's like, no, I'm tired. I just want to die in peace type of, situation. But he's like, it's Cassius. Yep. He's like, oh my God, Clay?
He's boxing again?
No, apparently Martin Sheen tells him that this guy is back, and it's somebody that Paul has been chasing his entire career.
Yeah.
And he's like, how are you so...
Yeah, and it's a weird way to kill somebody, like a high-up representative. And so it's like, and he's like, no, it's just got to be a copycat killer.
Yeah,
and he's like, no.
And he's like, how are you so sure? And then all of a sudden we cut to CIA at the agency and everything, and then we actually get introduced to the director of the FBI, and Martin Sheen is like, times has changed, we gotta share the load on this one.
Yeah. And
Richard, Paul is like, how are you guys so sure? And all of a sudden here comes Agent Geary, played by Topher Grace, with like all of his files, looking like a desk jockey, and he's like, no, you gotta look at these kills, and he's like kind of pointing everything out, and Richard Gere is like, no, this is just, and Paul, Geary seems like a very eager agent.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, no, I've been studying this guy. He's like, what I base my thesis on. And Paul is like, yeah, I read that thesis. It was dog shit. And he's like, no. I'm I'm pretty right on this. Come on, Paul.
Yeah. Yep.
But
And then Paul's just basically like, I'm leaving. This is a copycat killer. My guy died
years ago.
Yeah, he disappeared 20 years ago. We think he was dead then. No way he's still active now.
Yeah, but Paul, he takes a night on it. He looks through some things, and he's just like, all right, let's go down this rabbit hole one more time.
Right.
One final dance, because Martin Sheen tells him, he's like, we have Brodsky. And he's like, whoa. Yeah, he's like, yeah. He's like, no, I shot him 3 times in the chest. And
he fell off a building.
3 stories.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, we recovered his body. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? He's like, well, you decided to retire, Paul.
Right. We don't have to tell retired people information like that.
Yeah, you're not privy to certain information anymore.
Yep.
So takes the night on it, and he decides, all right, let's go down this rabbit hole. So him and Geary, he's been paired up with Agent Ben Geary, Topher Grace. They're like, let's go visit this guy in the prison, right? And he's like, I got something that he's gonna want, but you have to talk to him. I can't talk to him. You have to talk to him because he knows.
Right.
He knows.
Because I shot him.
Yeah, I shot him 3 times. And he fell out of a three-story building, so he's not gonna want to talk to me. And so he kind of hangs out in the back, and Geary is kind of grilling him, but he brings out the radio.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Give it to me. Give me the radio." And he's like, "No, you gotta answer my questions." And so they go through a line of questioning, but then Paul cuts it off. He's like, "Nope. All right, that's it. That's all we need. Let's go."
Yep.
And then
give him the radio. We're going.
Yeah. And Gary's like, what the hell, man? I was kind of getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And you kind of come off. He's like, no. He's like, no, you're not getting anywhere. You should step away from this case.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Because you're a young kid. You're a young agent. I saw you have a family.
Yeah.
You got 2 kids. He's like, how do you know that? He's like, it's my job to know. He's like, you don't have a job.
Right. Because if this guy smell Cletus, what is
who?
Cassius?
Cassius. Yeah.
If Cassius smells that you're on him.
Yeah.
He's the kind of killer. He's just going to kill your family, and he's going to kill you
without blinking an eye.
And if he's going to do like one murder and then disappear into the abyss, it's not worth you giving up your life and your family's life
and your career
and
everything. And he's like, you're like, no, I got I know this guy.
Yeah.
Right. But we cut back to Brodsky, and he's like, listen to the radio, but he pops the radio open and he takes out the batteries and he starts
eats them.
Yeah. He swallows them, and it's super uncomfortable because you could tell. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to dry swallow pills. Even that's hard.
Right. They're not triple A's. They're double A's.
And so he starts kind of seizing and everything, so they take him to the hospital, but he ends up throwing up the batteries.
Yep.
And then he ends up being able to kind of escape this whole situation.
Right, because he used to be a killer too. So.
He was a part of the Cassius 7.
The Cassius 7.
Right. And like he does tell a little tidbit to Agent Gere about how the Cassius 7 was like a group of assassins trained by Cassius, and originally there was like 14 of them, and then only 6 came out.
Right.
It was like a whole battle royale situation. So,
and it was like coming out of 20 years ago is the right at the end of the Cold War.
Yeah. Exactly. So, Brodsky is able to escape this, and then out of the darkness, Paul comes out. And he's like, much easier to get out of a hospital than it is a prison. And he's like, get out of here, old man.
Yeah.
I'll kill you. And he's like, you're not. And he's like, and I was like, because I've actually seen this movie prior to Colby suggesting this. I think I Redboxed it. I was like, ooh, Topher Grace. And then I was like, oh, yeah, he's Cassius. Because that's what he says. He's like,
right.
CIA, 20 years. Also the person that trained you. And then he pulls out the wire from his watch and dangles it. And Brodsky is like, oh, sir, you're my hero. But as he's doing it, he's pulling out a knife out of his pocket. And man, he makes quick
work of this dude.
Yep. Gives him the the Boston bow tie or whatever, where he slits his throat.
Yeah, it's crazy, like that piano, that mob hit situation, but he does it with like a finesse. Like, mob hits are kind of like sloppy and everything. This guy is just like,
yeah,
it was like a goddamn fucking what's it called, finisher from a fatality from Mortal Kombat.
Right. Oh yeah, trained ninja.
Yeah, and so Gary calls Paul. He's like, "Hey, Brodsky got killed. Do you want to come down here? Let's." Oh well, like first, Gary goes there first.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, he's there as well. Probably, he's on the up. He doesn't need anybody to tell him what's going on. He just, he got his ears to the ground. But Gary's kind of like looking at this whole situation. He's like, "Oh, Cassius likes to come back to the murder of the crime."
Right. Yeah. He's like, I've always suspected, theorized that he would, come back to the crime scene
and just check it out.
To check it out.
Which, I mean, not a great theory because I feel like a lot of serial killers do that.
Right, but if they have now had enough instances with that it's, if that's a possibility, then
you gotta look. And then Gary's like, "Oh, hey, look at that one guy," because there's a fellow looking over there, and he has this jacket, and Paul is like, "That's Russian made." I was like, "How could you tell from this distance?" But they start gearing after him
because they're not like us. Neither one of them wear glasses. They have good eyesight.
But no, they're not able to catch this guy. And I was like, to be honest, I was kind of impressed that Richard Gere's character is keeping up because he's old.
Right.
I feel like older, like old badass characters always like kind of save these spurts of movement.
Right, yeah. Like you get the Harrison Ford.
Yeah, Harrison Ford.
Like in The Fugitive.
Yeah,
Yoda. He's too old to be running, but he's got one sprint in him.
Yeah. But like I feel like they save it for close quarter combat. Like Yoda when he goes up, you're like, oh my god, he can move.
Yeah.
They're always conserving their energy, not for chases, but for like, oh, I could deal with you in this 20 by 20 foot room.
Red when Bruce Willis is all like slow the whole movie, and then he gets caught in the room with
freaking Carl Urban.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they have the fight. Yep.
Well, he doesn't get caught. He goes in there.
Right.
And he's like, I could beat your ass in this 10 by 10. But they end up losing him. And so
Cage match. Sorry.
So Gary's like, hey, like let's go back to the house, kind of re-articulate our plans.
Yeah.
And he meets before that, Richard, after he kills Brodsky, Richard Gere goes to Gary's house.
Yeah.
And sees him, but then he also sees his family.
Well, right, yeah. He goes there with intent to kill.
Yeah. He has that little watch wire already pulled out.
Yo.
But he's like, and all of a sudden it cuts to him just in bed, like. But yeah, so the day after we have that whole scene, and so they end up going to his house for dinner.
Right.
Seems like a pretty, it's a nice like little partner type of dinner. Like he plays with the kids a little bit. They have.
And he's like, I would like a margarita with an onion. And he's like, oh, that's Cassius's drink. He's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get in the mindset. He's like, oh, me too. Yeah. I'll have that as well.
Yeah, really. Yeah, just also, that's his predecessor.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, let me copy him. Maybe that'll help me also get into that headset or head space. But no, they even have dinner outside, which I've never really had like outside.
It's because we live in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's either boiling hot or freezing cold.
Right, freezing cold and windy.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
But no, he when what's it called? Paul kind of shuts down Gary about this whole situation. And so he's like, I have to piss. So he goes out and Paul talks to Amy, Gary's wife, and he's like, you have to tell him to stop.
Right, yeah, this is a real dangerous guy. I figure that if he gets close, family's in danger, and you don't want that. And he was like, and she's just like, nope, he's obsessed with this. Nothing I say is going to make him let go.
Yeah, he's like, ever since I've met him, this has been his like entire life.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's just not gonna happen, you know. So the next day they get a lead on a. Oh no! So the CIA brings them back in, and this is where like the Russians from the beginning of the movie come in, because they're like, hey, there's these Russians that snuck in. It's kind of wild. You guys want to maybe look at this? And then Paul sees somebody there,
Right.
and he's like, Brodsky. He's like, yeah, he's like Spetsnaz, old KGB
Right.
agent, and he's like, no, and he's like, it seems like there's a little bit of beef in there, right?
Right. He's like, I thought he was dead because he disappeared at the same time Cassius
Yeah,
disappeared.
apparently not. And then we do have like a little flashback of Paul working. I love these flashbacks because it's like they didn't even try to get different actors. They look the same. There's like a good like 17-year difference in these time jumps.
At least. Right. Yeah.
And it's like
20, 25 years.
yeah, and then like they didn't try at all to
But put a little more gel in your hair. No one's going to notice.
put a little good dye in there, you know what I'm saying? But it's Richard Gere, like his character Paul, moving, tailing the subject, and he just assassinates this dude mid daylight. He like creates a distraction or he trips somebody, and everyone's like, "Oh dear!"
Right.
And he slits this guy's throat behind everybody.
Right. Oh, yeah, waiting for, like, cabs or something.
Yeah. And he just walks away. Apparently, the person that he slit the throat of was probably an agent because the woman had slipped something in his luggage.
Yes.
Or his briefcase or open book or open bag, whatever. And then so he makes a call. But like I'm kind of like mixing everything up because everything kind of just starts to meld for me in this movie.
Right, it does.
So it'll just be a lot easier for me to do this flashback like this. He calls, says that he's eliminated the target, but then they tell him, like, you'll have, you know the rules, Paul.
Right.
Apparently you have wife and child in Sweden. I think my Russian accent is pretty spot on.
It is. And it's a big no-no.
Yeah, it's a big no-no. And he's like, no. And he, like, sprints to freaking Sweden, and, his wife and kid are dead.
Yeah.
And apparently it was Brodsky.
Yes.
Or is that his name?
Yeah, it's... What was the first guy that got killed?
Buzlovsky.
Buzlovsky.
And so they get a tip on this prostitute that should possibly know where Buzlovsky is because it's probably his like old flame
Right.
back in played by Stana Katic, who was from the TV show Castle with Nathan Fillion. Apparently they did not like each other a lot. Because then if you notice, did you watch that show? Because I love that show. Because I thought she was beautiful.
I'm familiar with it, but I was not a regular watcher.
I thought she was beautiful, and I thought the girl who played Nathan Fillion's daughter was like also hot. Because I was her age, I think, like as the show was going on, or maybe a little bit old. Maybe I was a little bit older, but she's super hot.
And she didn't get along with Nathan Fillion?
Yeah, the Stana, the prostitute in this movie, she apparently didn't get along with it, and you could tell because of his weight gain throughout the show. Because if you see him in The Rookie now, he looks fantastic.
Right.
Like he could play what's it called, Green Lantern right now if he wanted to. Looks good, but no. Towards the end of the show, he was getting big. He was getting slow.
Okay.
But I know Richard Gere kind of shows a little bit. Paul shows a little bit of his true colors in there because he sends Gere to go into the actual trailer.
Yeah.
But he knows that this girl's gonna go through the back.
Right.
And he's like, I'm gonna fucking put a bullet in your head and I'm gonna let you float in this dirty ass river. And Gary is like, hold on, let me talk to her. Right? And so he does. He's able to connect with her. He like shows photos of his family and everything. And
yeah.
Paul's like, did you show that prostitute?
And so there we go. So we're talking about something that was 2011, and they were like, you're allowed to watch baseball, kids playing baseball without having your own kids. Yeah, I used to be an age 20 years ago. That was like the 80s when it was totally fine to stick a gun in a girl's mouth. And now it's like 2010s. You got to sweet talk them.
Yeah, it is insane work. But her pimp comes,
Yeah.
right, and he's like, grilling him. He's like, let me see your phone. You probably call somebody before, And this whole situation, he's kind of doing the old school thing, but they're following the pimp because the pimp has leads.
Yeah.
On this whole situation, he knows where
And the pimp's playing along. He's just like, I only got 2 girls. Don't kill them.
Oh yeah, he's like, and Paul's like, very old school. He's like, hey, you got a rat, you got to trap him. You don't just kill it.
Yep.
Because he knows where all the other rats are, and he's like the least dangerous rat.
Right.
So he's like, if you bring him to me, your whole operation can still keep going. Like, I'm not gonna say nothing.
Right. Yeah. You only got 2 girls. Yeah. That's not FBI business or CIA business.
Well, he was like, how many girls do you really have? He's like, okay, I have 5. But so he tells Gary, he's like, hey, chill out right here. I'm gonna find this out, right? He brings him to Bovolsky, right? Was that his name? Buzlovsky. And he's like, you're not Cassius. The CIA thinks you're Cassius. He's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I can play Cassius whenever they need me to.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you can't because I'm Cassius.
Yeah.
And he makes quick work of this pimp. Because the pimp was like, he pulls a gun out on him.
Yeah.
Wrong move, man. Wrong move.
Right.
Even a dull blade, So he makes quick work of this pimp. And he has to disappear at this point, right? Because now Geary comes in because he hears the shots going. But he doesn't know that Buzlovsky was back up there.
Right.
He just knows that Paul and the pimp were there.
Yeah.
And now the pimp is dead with Cassius's, M.O.
Slicey throat, yeah.
So now Paul is on the run.
Right.
Paul is...
Which seems like such a smart, calculated guy. You feel like he wouldn't use the
move.
The move.
When you're backed up into a corner, you go to the sweet old classics.
I guess.
Muscle memory is too strong with that one. You got to get rid of somebody fast. You do it the best way you know how.
That's true. That's
right?
true.
And he probably didn't think that Buzlovsky was gonna get away.
Yeah.
But he knows how this is gonna look, and he's like, you could already tell that Topher Grace's character has been having these, feelings.
Right.
And Paul knows.
Yeah.
Paul knows. He's like, you're a smart kid. I know you can see. I could throw out these misleading lies to you, but for how long?
Right. Yeah.
And so Paul goes back. He goes back to the FBI spot. And he talks to one of his coworkers who was in bank crimes, who's another pretty noticeable character,
right? Yeah,
actor,
and he's been every time you see him, he's always oh, come on, you're in violent crimes, get me over there. Yeah. I hate being in banks.
It's all numbers. It's all paperwork. And so he tasks this guy. He's like, hey, I need you to look at all these because I need fresh eyes on it. When you're too close to a painting, you don't see the whole picture.
Right. He's and I've looked through all these files 1,000 times, and so they all look exactly the same now.
Yeah, because once you have these preconceived notions of things, you're totally stuck on it.
Yeah.
And so this guy's good though. He orders these things out in chronological order, and he's telling Ben, he's like, hey, you got to make a null theory, a null hypothesis, right?
Right.
So it's I know you slept your way through fucking school, Harvard, because we're not all geniuses, right? So I have to pay attention. He's like, you make a thesis and you try to disprove your own thesis, and if you can't, then your original preconceived notion is facts.
Right.
And so Paul, Ben goes through this whole thing, and he's looking for Cassius, and he's like, Paul is not Cassius, but as he looks through time, he's there in every photo where he had said that Paul, he likes to go back to the scene of the crime, and they've photoshopped all these old photos of Richard Gere in these photos, and he's like, holy shit, he's been fucking next to me this whole time. Now Paul goes to visit his wife, Ben's hot librarian wife. It's the dream. It's the dream to get with a girl that's a librarian. so naughty. But he's like, he tells her, he's like, you gotta tell Ben to step away, or else everyone's gonna die.
Yep.
She's like crying because she knows, you know, this is coming from like an old seasoned like guy who's alone.
Yeah.
And you could only really imagine why he's alone. It's one, he never got a family, or two, his family got murdered by somebody.
Right.
That's what you have to think. So, you know, Ben meets up with Amy again. He's like, "Whoa, you saw him?" She's like, "Yeah, he came by the store. He like kind of saved my life and everything." But yeah, once Ben is able to make the connections that Paul is Cassius,
Right.
he does like some old secret agent shit. You know, he fills out like what is it called, a crossword puzzle, and Paul has been kind of tailing him to see how much closer he's getting.
Right.
And he sees this and he's like, hold the fuck on. So he goes to it. He looks at the crossword puzzle very briefly. We don't see what he writes down.
Well, I even rewound it and paused it to see if like it was like, oh, maybe it says something, but like it's too quick. And it doesn't. Like, they don't show you anything.
Yeah. And so what's it called? Paul gets a beat on Buzlowski, and he's like, he's gonna go to this port, and I'm gonna fucking kill this guy because he's the one that killed his family.
Yep.
Now Paul leaves a photo of him and his family on Ben's windshield,
Right,
to kind of let him know.
Yeah, and nobody in the CIA knew that he was ever married with kids.
Yeah, maybe not even married, just had a little, you know, thing with her.
Right. Yeah, so
probably married though, you know, but it was a different country.
Yeah, totally, like a secret family that was from the before time.
Yeah, but like Paul is able to figure, he looks, you know, because what's it called, his coworker, he puts a line where he's like, this is all like Soviet Union like killings, and then this line is where his killings become erratic.
Yes.
It doesn't have anything to do, you know, some of them have things to do with this, you know, the Soviet Union, some don't. They're just random killings of political figures.
Yeah.
But, you know, Ben puts the photo there and he's like, this is what happened. This is what changed. This is what possibly made him a double agent.
Right.
Or somebody that got flipped, right?
Yeah.
So now Paul calls him and he's like, hey man, just don't. You know, just go home to your family and let me get my revenge. And so now the last 20 minutes of this movie goes pretty fast. There's like a little car chase. You know, he flips his car. Buzlowski is able to almost kill Paul, but then Ben shows up out of nowhere, shoots him in the leg, and then now these two have a conversation with each other where we actually find, this is the twist of the movie,
right,
where Ben is actually a secret spy. I was like, oh, I totally forgot about this, you know, because he plays like the desk jockey so well.
Right.
That, see, this is why I couldn't be.
And he's actually the sleeper agent for Mother Russia.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be faking being part of the CIA so that he can... FBI, so that he can hunt down...
Yeah, Cassius. And also be able to set up those Russian agents that came through Mexico to do whatever they had to do. That's what he was there for. That's when he got activated.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, but Paul is talking to him. He's like, so you say what? You don't love your wife? You don't love your kids?
Right.
And they have this moment, right? Because Ben is looking at Paul because Paul is his future. Yeah. He's like, if I keep doing this secret agent shit for Russia, for Mother Russia, you know, that's just where I'll be, you know, always looking over my shoulder.
Yeah, eventually something's gonna slip and I'm gonna lose my family.
Yeah, even if he goes back, they're gonna kill his family.
Right.
It's like, oh, no loose ends.
Right. Yeah. So it's just a matter of like, okay, I'll finish the job, I'll get in the plane, I'll go back to Russia. Kind of thing.
That's the whole plan. Because as soon as he kills Cassius, he's out. He's supposed to be out.
Yeah.
And Ben gets up in his face and he's like, I think Cassius is getting away. And so, so the two team up to kill Boslovsky. For a second, Paul is thinking about letting Ben get killed. Because he's watching the CCTV, and he sees that like Boslovsky is right in the shadows, and he's like, no, he doesn't have to end up like me.
Yeah.
And he ends up taking a bullet for Ben. Ben is able to sort of distract Boslovsky away from Paul, and then Paul is able to get the watch out, get the string out, and Ben kind of sits back because I think in this moment he's like, let this guy get his revenge. Because he easily could have shot Boslovsky.
Right.
But he doesn't.
But then it's also like, I'm supposed to kill him. So if Boslovsky kills him, then it's kind of like he's just doing my job for me. So I'm okay with either outcome.
Yeah, but I was like, nah. I think maybe he's letting, because I feel like maybe he's put himself in those shoes, and he's like, if this guy killed my family, I'd want to take the revenge for myself as well.
Right.
So, but no, Paul, he's got a gut shot. He kills Boslovsky with the thing, and he's like, just go back home. And he doesn't mean Mother Russia.
Right.
He means Virginia. And and then but Ben puts Paul's watch on Boslovsky.
So it seems like he's always been
Cassius. Right? And then like Martin Sheen kind of is like a little suspicious of it, but he's like, come on, your boy's work.
Right.
He was able to like, a little finagle and then use his own weapon against him, and what a wonderful, what a fucking agent, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And he's able to kind of lie his way out of that situation.
Right. It's one of those ones where like the most obvious answer's got to be the correct answer, because you certainly don't want to be like, oh yeah, your top agent for the last 40 years has been a Russian spy.
Or maybe Martin knew. Maybe Martin's always knew. But he's like, if you're going to flip, you might as well flip for us.
Right. It's a possibility. Right? It's a possibility.
But like Martin Sheen is like, hey, you ever think about working for the CIA? He's like, think about it. Think about it, kid. And and then Ben goes home, looks at his beautiful family.
I just clicked when you said that. That's when he, like you said, maybe he always knew that Richard Gere. Maybe that's when he realized that this kid is
also
Russian, and that's why he's like, come to the CIA because you got some secrets that we could exploit.
Yeah, you got some skills.
Okay, got it.
Martin Sheen, he's been head of the CIA for 3 presidents.
Right, he does say that. Yeah,
he's no slouch. He knows espionage, and he knows a lie. He could sniff out a lie.
Yep.
But Ben goes home, watches his family get the mail, American flag fucking waving gloriously in the
and he's still thinking about it. It's like contemplation. He's sitting in the car watching his family, and then he's like, no,
fucking this whole movie.
She's a hot librarian. I'm not gonna get that in Russia.
This movie. This movie is fucking propaganda. And the movie ends right there. Now, before we get into our thoughts about the movie, let's go to our other segment. High star, low star.
So we got a 10 out of 10.
Martin
Brandt directs a very good thriller. Topher Grace, Martin Sheen, and Richard Gere make an interesting cast for the 2010 film. Here's a retired CIA agent, Gere, asked to discover who murdered a U.S. senator. Topher Grace is an FBI agent who is also asked by Martin Sheen to join Gere. The plot is interesting in that we the viewer are told early on who Cassius, the undercover Russian killer, is, but as the film progresses, there is a surprise. That second surprise is not far-fetched. I was not surprised. Gere is always interesting in that he is a trained acrobat, and on his films, his attribute translates to an actor who moves like a cat or a dancer. Even at 69, his moves are quick and graceful. Topher Grace lacks the ability to keep up with Gere's famous persona and style. Both actors are missing that killer intensity, but that makes sense when the plot line is revealed. Certainly anything with Gere in it is a must-watch.
And then we have 1 out of 10. Yuck. Shouting is acting. The macho cast of this man film seems to think. Richard Gere is astonishingly wooden, especially during the token Russian dialogue. The sound, script, direction, and pacing is straight out of every other bore snore CIA film. I was astonished to find this film was made in 2011, albeit Richard Gere's Silver Fox looks are a giveaway. It feels like it could have been just a dull. It could have been just as dull as it was in 1985. Weak-willed and expendable female characters, and some of the most insincere lines I've ever heard in cinema. Predictable fistfights, tired gunfights, and rote car chases. I don't even know what he was trying to say there. I might start calling him Gere the Insincere. Yeah, I do have to sort of agree with the whole, when they're both speaking Russian, the accent was like, I don't know Russian, but I know that's not right. Like, I know that's not a person who's born and bred in Russia.
Yeah.
But I feel like Richard Gere's, the first one said that the killer intensity wasn't there, but I feel like Richard Gere was able to, he squints his eyes a little bit, and because his face has a lot of character, that's where like the intensity was coming from.
Right.
Topher Grace, maybe, yeah, but like for the most part, you were supposed to believe that he's like this desk jockey.
Right. Yeah, and that's exactly the part he played. I thought he came across as that part well. Like he hid the
Russian spy, the Russian agent.
Yeah.
Portion really well. Yeah, and that's like I think this movie could have done a little bit, usually I don't really say this movie needed more time. I mean, I guess I do say that a bit, but like this one probably could have used that a little bit, just because the reveal of him being like a Russian spy was just so abrupt.
It was.
So
both reveals were very abrupt.
Yeah.
Like I felt that they introduced Gere too quickly as a spy. If it would have been, if you were like with kind of learning he was the spy with Topher Grace, I feel like it would have been a lot more mystery. And then the second Topher Grace being the spy also would have like really come across.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, what a twist. But like you could just twist like 11 minutes into the movie and you're like, oh, now we're just along for the story.
Yeah, I actually didn't. I think that's where I didn't actually mind finding out that Richard Gere was the spy. Just because I already had, like, I know I've already seen this movie, but it had been like maybe 10 years since I've seen it.
Right.
But like the fact that he was so adamant, he's like, no, it's a copycat, this and that. I was like, oh, is he the fucking spy? Like I could kind of already. This is the only portion where I'd be pretty decent at being a spy. I was like, nah, you're a fucking spy, dude. I know it. It's just so, I can't prove it right now, but you smell like shit, dude. But like, yeah, see, because then if you reveal Gere as the spy, then you would have had more time to reveal what's called Topher Grace's character as the spy. Little hints, little drops. I think that's just really
right.
And the fight scenes weren't, there weren't anything too special, but it was cool to see Richard Gere like move that fast when he's doing his like assassination techniques.
Right.
And I think that's where I was like, I had to switch my mind off of it, because it's like, oh, these aren't supposed to be like Bourne Identity fights. These are supposed to be quick, fast, and incognito.
Right. Yeah. He's coming out of the shadows with a razor wire cutting your throat and then boop back into the shadows.
Yeah. So like, you know, the 1 out of 10 saying like these fist fights are boring, they're not supposed to be long.
Right.
At all.
Yeah, no, and I didn't have any problem with the action scenes. And the car chase was pretty decent.
Yeah, I probably could have done without it because it wasn't special.
So the writer director also did Fast and Furious 2.
Oh, Too Fast, Too Furious?
Yeah, so you know that he can
knows.
do a car chase.
Yeah.
So, but he also then did Wanted, which was an adaptation off of a comic book, and it was a decent movie, but it was a huge disappointment from the comic book.
Yeah.
So I almost felt like maybe this is not the right director to do. Like, he just kind of falls a little short on some of the stuff as a director, because like you said, you got the star power in here. Well, you do. Well,
Yeah. These are well-known actors.
right.
Yeah,
And if you had like a really spot-on director, you could have pulled that little extra out of him.
Yeah, I think they just needed somebody who was a bit more into the spy genre.
Right.
You know, because the spy genre, it is like a lot of people can say it's like it's tired. You kind of see the same things, but it's still like really intriguing to watch.
Right. And story-wise, I think the overall story was a really good, with the one's a spy, and then you find out that the other's actually the spy tracking down the spy, and then the spy is actually no longer a spy. He's now like on this revenge kick because somebody killed his family, and so
Spyception.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I thought that was a good change off of the straightforward.
Yeah, the only reason I would say like you can cut out the car chasing is because I feel like that would have been a really good spot to have like a prolonged fight scene. Because these are two trained killers, so they're not going to be able to like what's it called, like sneak attack each other as well as they would if they're coming into like a base doing it. And so like this would have been a really good spot for you to showcase like these assassination skills, these like CQC type of like combat skills.
Right.
You know, I understand Richard Gere, he was like what's pretty old when this 69, I think.
69, yeah.
That's what they said. And so maybe he wasn't going to be up for that. But yeah, I think that's just probably the spot where you could have thrown in the action of two assassins fighting in their style.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but I mean, Buzlowski was supposed to. He looked much younger, so he might have been able to just overpower Richard Gere, which you know a lot of people are like, oh, then like it's not realistic. But then you guys don't complain when Jackie Chan does shit. Freaking what was it? The Foreigner, man. Jesus, fucking terrifying. Did you watch that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just coming out of nowhere.
Right.
He's so old.
Even old Jackie Chan is.
But like, you know, but that's because he was a person with a set of skills like Richard Gere. So,
right.
You know, that would have been a really fun time to showcase like experience over like youth. But yeah, that's really my only complaint is like the Russian dialogue doesn't sound very Russian.
Mm.
You know, also because of like one of my old coworkers was like this old Russian lady too, so I've heard her speak Russian. So right. This one is like they didn't hire a dialect coach or anything. They're just like, yeah, you know, say spasibo. Los Vidano. You know, just a very D&D version of a Russian accent.
Yeah. Just, as long as it's got some syllables, you're fine. You're fine.
It's very minimal to their Russian dialect. Even when they're doing that little standoff together, they're speaking in Russian. It's like, why does this sound so awkward?
No one will notice.
Oh man! But were there any spots in this movie that that really stood out to you?
Like I said, I did like the double twist. I really didn't see the second one coming. and it's like I thought that was good. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's anything like spectacular to stand out.
Yeah. Yeah, like as far as like a spy movie goes, it's pretty in the middle.
Yeah.
Nothing too spectacular. I mean, like that double twist is probably the best thing about it.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, oh man, but like even then, like it sucked because you didn't get to see Topher Grace be a Russian spy.
Right.
That's where you kind of missed out on, because you do find out he was the one that actually assassinated the senator from the beginning of the movie. He's the one that used the Cassius's killing technique to sort of kickstart this, because that's how you would kind of bring him out.
Oh, I think I missed that.
Yeah. It was during
but yes, that was like, oh, yeah, if we got to, because he's like, I'm still searching for this person,
and let me copy that killing technique to bring him out, you know? But yeah, so like that's also like another missed opportunity to showcase his like Russian assassin techniques.
Right.
So, but we're coming to our ending, so like make sure to check out all of our other months down below. We got a ton for you. We got WWE Studios month. We got Wrestler month.
So we got a whole month about library movies.
Yeah, there's a ton out there. You got to have some. We're like 250 episodes in. We have something for you.
Yeah.
We got holiday theme months. I know there's a lot of you Christmas freaks out there.
Halloween fans.
Oof, right? So
it's one holiday or another. You like one of them.
Yeah, you one or the other, right? Or both, you know? Nightmare Before Christmas situation. But yeah, we do our reviews in 4 different sections. We have Stream It, DVD It, Blu-ray It, and the Ultimate Box Collection. Colby, where are you at for this one?
I feel like just DVD. Like it's got some rewatch. There's enough things that you pointed out that I was like, oh really? It's got some rewatch value.
Yeah.
I'd DVD this. I don't think you get anything special with a Blu-ray.
Yeah. Man, I don't know if I'd even DVD this for me. Just because, like, once you find the double twist, everything out there, everything's kind of laid out. It's just like, oh, okay, this was okay. So I think I'd probably go stream it. I mean, it's available on a bunch of streaming services if you want to check that out. If you're a huge Grace fan, you know, a little Topher in your life.
Yep.
Or if you're just a horny old lady for Richard Gere. My mom loves Richard Gere. I don't know why. I never watched enough of his movies.
I feel like...
Was your mom horny for him
My mom
too?
was like a Richard... Yeah. What's Richard Gere movies that she rented from Blockbuster?
From ancient times?
Yeah.
As my nieces like to call it. So you would just go to a store to rent a movie? It's like, yeah, fuck you.
Right, because we had HBO, which was streaming, but then you had to be like, whatever. Star Wars 3 starts at 6, so we have to plan dinner around the movie because...
I know, kids will never understand the thrill that you would get when you go for snacks before commercials are done, right?
Yep.
Or like when you would rent the movie from Blockbuster and you're like, this wasn't in the TV version of it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I didn't know this movie had boobs.
would cut stuff out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it wasn't even like dirty stuff. They just cut it so it fit into the time block.
Yeah, so... this is it's a fun movie if you like these type of spy movies. I think it's nothing too like out of this world, but it's a nice, like, if you have a spy collection, that's definitely, I think, worth the watch, with two pretty good actors in it.
Yeah, and even the Russian guy from that's in prison at the beginning who eats the batteries. That was the head vampire from True Blood.
Oh, was it?
He was the romantic interest.
Oh. I know the scar always makes, you know, and a scar on your face makes you look like a badass.
Yeah, and I totally didn't recognize him, and then he kind of like does this like tilt his head to the forward and kind of give this like cocky little like half smile, and I was like, oh, it's the vampire guy.
It's the sexy vampire.
And Teresa watched this with me, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, it is." It's of course you.
True
Yeah.
Blood is that is just supermarket like a smut novel TV shows, right?
Yeah, it's even worse than Twilight.
Because it gets pretty dirty. Oh yeah, pretty dirty.
It gets lots of dirty.
All right. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check out our links down below where we have all of our social medias.
Yeah, no, we got our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube. You just yep, we're all over the place. You can find us.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check it out as a theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on our album Music Podcast 3, and her Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.